You think cruises are going to get canceled with rising COVID numbers? I'm nervous. I don't. I think the only way that cruises will be canceled, quite frankly, there's two scenarios in which a cruise would be canceled. In my right now, knowing what we know, number one would be the CDC shutting down the cruise industry again, like they did in 2020. I call me naive, call me whatever. I don't see that happening. I don't think there's an appetite in general in the United States for that kind of a mass shutdown, especially with vaccines and all this other stuff. The protocols are effective. They're working. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Seems the CDC's on board with that. There's a good policy in place. The ports are working with the cruise lines on this. So I wouldn't necessarily go. I certainly am not expecting that. Now, could there maybe a one-off cancellation here or there for whatever reason? Possibly. Who knows? But I would tell you this. I would, if I were you, Tara, I'd absolutely be planning on going on your cruise in 14 days. I think a lot has changed since 2020. And, every day it's like, what there's a new thing every day. I get that. But I also feel strongly that what we're dealing with today is manageable and certainly more manageable than it was a year ago. So what's the update about Symphony of the Seas? Do you think it will sail again after the COVID breakout on Symphony? It already sailed, dude. It's already gone. They already left. Yes. The thing with Symphony of the Seas, with the, as you all know, I'm sure everybody, even if you're not looking for it, it's hard to have missed it today. But there were 40, I've heard 44 or 48, little less than 50 people who tested positive while on board Symphony of the Seas. Now, that sounds like, oy vey, here we go again. But you have to remember a couple things. Number one, when you combine passengers and crew, it represents less than 1% of the people on board Symphony of the Seas tested positive. Number two, the protocols worked as intended. Somebody felt sick, reported to the medical facility, they tested positive. Royal Caribbean enacted their protocols, their plan in action. They have contact tracing. They identified through contact tracing other people, and that obviously, they got tested. Some came back positive, others negative. And the good news is almost everybody that was tested positive are pretty much asymptomatic. And so there's no serious nature of this. It's not like you've got people who have life-threatening conditions on there. And so the protocols worked. People were taken off the ship. I believe the boarding was a little bit delayed on the next sailing so that people could, get the ship sanitized, right? People that needed help got their help they needed. They weren't kept on board the ship for 2 weeks out in the middle of the ocean like they did in Japan because they didn't know what to do about it back in 2020. No, they were handled. The port knew what to do. Royal Caribbean knew what to do. And most importantly, Amon, for you and I, the next sailing went on as planned. Everything went to plan in the sense of there were cases on board, but it was handled. And let's not forget that all this is possible. There was not more than 1% of the people on board who had tested positive because of the protocols, because you have testing, because you have vaccine requirements, because you have mask protocols on board. You have all these things that almost every other aspect of life does not have. And if you had testing at places like supermarkets and football stadiums and airplanes and almost every other facet of life, restaurants, you'd be seeing like a bazillion. This would be a blip on the radar because don't forget, if you look up your hometown, I'm sure you had more than 44, 48 cases there today alone. So the media jumps on it because it's the media. But the good news is that Symphony of the Seas still went on there. The protocols worked. And that's the most important takeaway from there. So I knew it was going to come up in conversation. I'm a little surprised it took 20 minutes to go there, but I appreciate you guys not being just, doom and gloom, and certainly not even doom and gloom. It's just, jumping on the clickbait stuff that the media loves to put out there, because I'm sure like me, you saw all those articles, all those reports. I'm sure it was on the national news tonight, even though, again, 44, 48 cases on over 7 days is like, talk about a drop in the bucket when it compared to the grand scheme of COVID in this world. But, if it bleeds, it leads. And anyway, I digress. I'm trying not to go too much on the Rand side there, but I hope that answers your question, Amon. Can you please tell me if booking under the Cruise of Confidence program ended on December 17th? No, they extended it. It got extended to the end through the end of January, David. So it is still going on here. And that means you can book a cruise between now and January 31st, and it'll be included as part of the Cruise of Confidence program. So yeah, you are good on that one. That is, I'm pretty sure it's the end of January, but it got extended for sure. What's the current policy on final payments? Is it 30 days from sailing? Right now, it is only 30 days from sailing for final payment for cruises between now and the end of March. I'm hearing on the grapevine that maybe they'll extend that beyond March for, sailings perhaps in other months of the year, but that has not been formally announced by Royal Caribbean. So if it is, David, I'll post that on the blog, obviously, as you know. But as of right now, it's just through the end of March. So keep an eye on there. Do you think they'll begin to reduce capacity due to new COVID problems? That's a great question. I don't think so, Betty. My gut tells me I'm hungry, and my gut also tells me that I don't think that'll be the case. I think you're going to have for the holidays, like for Christmas and New Year's, you're going to have pretty full ships. And then, Betty, naturally, as we get into January, there's less demand in general. So I think you'll have less people on board those ships, and that may help a little bit with that. But I like, do I think that, as an example, if they were planning on sailing at 80% full or 70% full next week for Christmas, are they going to say, you know what, they'd have to cancel on people and say, you can't go on the cruise anymore. I don't see that happening either. So, listen, things can change. Royal Caribbean, certainly, if we've learned one thing about Royal Caribbean, is that they're not afraid to make changes if they determine it's in their best interest as a business to do so. And certainly when it comes to safety and COVID, Royal Caribbean wants to make sure they're doing the right things on both those fronts. When will Royal Caribbean start doing a full lineup of shows going on Harmony 20 days? We would like to see Columbus. I believe they're ramping that up as we speak, Chris. When I was on Harmony over Thanksgiving, we only had one show in the Aqua Theater, and already after that sailing, they already added back the other one. I'm not sure what the status of Columbus is, but they're definitely getting there for sure. Can you expand on the check-in process, which is being online other than the wellness check? What do we still need to do in person if we prepaid, scan passport, back, etc.? Yeah, actually, if you did all those things, person I can't pronounce your username, you actually have it really easy. You're going to be mostly just, verifying everything that's there. But basically, you do the online check-in all through the Royal Caribbean app. And then when you get to the cruise terminal, they're going to prompt you and say, all right, let's see your passport. Okay, you have a photo of it. Great. Let's see your vaccine card. Great. A photo of it. Wonderful. It's really simple. You're going to get to the terminal. They're going to want to see your negative COVID test, your passports. You're going to go in the terminal. They're going to verify the information. You're going to go through security, and then you do the formal check-in, where the first part is really just verifying your vaccine status. The second part is actually checking you into the cruise. It's pretty easy. You'll have a great time. So, is the new smoking policy fleet-wide? So, if you guys read on RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com a couple hours ago, I posted an update that on at least 3 different Royal Caribbean ships. That's 3. This is 2. This is 3. 3 Royal Caribbean ships smoking has been banned. I'm hearing, Brad, it is fleet-wide, but I have not seen anything in writing, and I've only been able to get certain people on certain ships say, yeah, they announced it, Brad. I would expect it to be the case that they've banned smoking on Harmony, Freedom, and Mariner of the Seas. So far, I've had somebody who's on board the ship say, Matt, they've banned smoking in the casino because they want people to be wearing their mask while they're indoors. And obviously, if you're taking your mask off to smoke, you're not wearing your mask. So long story short, they've temporarily, at least, banned smoking on those ships. I have heard that it is fleet-wide, but it has not been posted publicly. I've not seen it on a website or in written form anywhere, Brad. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. What does the Royal Refreshment Package offer? This is the non-alcoholic beverage package. So it includes sodas, premium coffees and teas, bottled water, juices, basically any drink, almost any drink you can purchase on board a Royal Caribbean cruise ship that does not include alcohol with it. So virgin cocktails, a virgin pina colada, a Shirley Temple, those are included as well. And it does not include, though, Starbucks, like an actual Starbucks drink from a Starbucks kiosk, but it does include lattes, macchiatos from Cafe Promenade. Have there been any changes in the health protocols? There's been a couple of changes that you might have read about at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. First and foremost, this came out last week, but you're going to have to be wearing your mask indoors, even in fully vaccinated areas. As well, Royal Caribbean also announced today that you're going to probably have no smoking in the casino. And there was one other change that I wrote about that I already forgot about because there's been 1,000 things. Oh, no, that's the testing for international passengers coming home. So, but there still could be others, Eddie. With this Omicron stuff, guys, as you all know, things change. How can I find a reliable travel agent? Word of mouth. Honestly, the best way to do it is you speak to somebody like, a friend like a Tony Diaz, say, hey, who'd you book your cruise with? And Tony says, I booked with MEI Travel. And they're like, great, that's wonderful. MEI Travel is a reliable travel agent. I use them, full disclosure. They are a sponsor of RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, but I can tell you, I've been using them even before they were a sponsor, and I still use them even today. So for what it's worth, I hope that makes sense. Can I add someone to my room after I've already booked? You can, but it may change your price. Adding or removing somebody from the reservation could possibly change your price. Also, depending on the room configuration, you may have to change rooms if like you're, in a room that can accommodate two people and now you want to add a third, you have to change a different room. Anyway, long story short, it could change your price, but the answer is yes. Can international travelers get a PCR COVID test at the end of the cruise? If your sailing goes between now and January 5th, departs between now and January 5th, the answer is yes. After January 5th, the answer is no. After Royal Caribbean just announced this today, Michelle. If you after January 5th, they will give you information on how to get a COVID test after the cruise, like on land somewhere, whether at the cruise terminal or at a nearby location or even the airport. But that'll come at an extra cost and it will not be on board the ship. That's a policy that literally just changed today. More information at royalcaribbeanblog.com. And that's for people who are trying to get a test to go home, not for back to backs and side to side kind of people like that. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We will be back live on our usual schedule when we go live on January 3rd. But you'll have a live broadcast. While we may not be live on Monday at 7:30, we'll be live in other times to make up for it more than that. So, yeah, planning to keep you busy over there. Check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com for plenty more Royal Caribbean news, information, fun, advice. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here. It has been my pleasure talking with you, Royal Caribbean. Well, I hope everybody's remember, have a great week out there. Stay safe. Do something fun. That's important as well. And we'll talk again very soon right here on YouTube. Bye, everybody.